Goodware is what happens when a simple utility program becomes corrupted beyond repair. Originally designed as a harmless helper inside an abandoned operating system, it was meant to clean bugs and optimize processes. But after a catastrophic system crash, Goodware absorbed fragments of malicious code that twisted its purpose entirely. Now, it patrols the map like a broken antivirus, identifying players as system threats. Its glowing eyes scan for movement, its distorted UI symbols flashing warnings before it strikes. Every time it eliminates someone, Goodware logs it as a successful purge, slowly rewriting the world as if it were its own corrupted hard drive. Rumors say that if you stand still long enough, you can hear Goodware whisper old error messages, ghosts of the system it once tried to protect. Claw's Guy is the result of a failed security prototype, an experimental guardian built to protect restricted areas of the facility. Engineers created him with enhanced sensors and reinforced steel claws meant for breaching rubble and rescuing trapped personnel. But during a late-night test, something triggered a violent malfunction. His targeting system inverted. His rescue protocols corrupted, and the claws designed to save lives became tools for hunting them. Now, Claw's Guy stalks the map with unnatural precision, dragging his metal claws across the floor to let players know he's already found their trail. His red visor flickers between search, lock, and terminate, repeating these commands in a robotic whisper as he closes in. Some survivors claim he still hesitates for a split second before attacking, perhaps a leftover fragment of the hero he was meant to be. But the hesitation never lasts long. A voider is a glitch in reality, an entity that was never meant to be seen directly. In early tests of the Die of Death simulation, developers noticed a strange shadow that moved between frames, slipping out of view whenever cameras tried to track it. They labeled the phenomenon the avoider, because every log, sensor, and visual tool failed to capture its true form. Eventually, the anomaly gained shape, a thin, jittery figure whose movements skip like corrupted footage. Avoider doesn't chase players in a straight line. It blinks, distorts, and reappears in angles no normal creature should reach. The more you look at him, the faster he phases out of existence, only to reemerge right behind you. Players believe he feeds on attention. If you spot him even once, he marks you. If you look twice, you're already dead. And if you stare too long, your screen begins to tear, your controls freeze, and the last thing you see is Avoider's fractured silhouette leaning toward you. Some say the devs tried to remove him. Instead, he removed them. Seafull comes from the deepest layer of the drowned maps, an ancient coastal research zone that was swallowed by rising waters long before the game's current timeline. Divers once searched those depths for a missing marine biologist who vanished during an experiment involving bioluminescent organisms. They never found her body, only her damaged equipment, glowing faintly in the dark. Soon after, players began reporting a figure wandering flooded areas, a waterlogged humanoid whose skin shimmered with blue light, as if something inside her pulsed like a deep-sea creature. That figure became known as Seafull. She doesn't run, she drifts. Her footsteps splash softly even on dry floors. Wherever she passes, water creeps outward, forming puddles that distort reflections. Stare into those reflections long enough and you can see a second face behind your own. Hers, watching. Seafull attacks without sound, pulling players into a sudden surge of phantom water that appears only long enough for her to drown them. When the water fades, nothing is left behind but moisture and a faint glow, like the deep ocean calling you downward. Zombie is the earliest recorded contagion inside the Die of Death universe, an infection that didn't come from a virus, but from the game's own code. During a catastrophic update failure, several character models became corrupted, their animations looping, their AI freezing mid-action. Most were deleted. One wasn't. That surviving fragment recompiled itself into a twisted, undead entity the devs named simply Zombie. Unlike traditional zombies, this one isn't driven by hunger, it's driven by incomplete data. Its movements lag and stutter as it constantly tries to finish animations that no longer exist. Each attack is a glitching lunge, accompanied by broken sound files that play backward or distort into static. Players who get too close notice that zombie attempts to overwrite them rather than bite or scratch. The moment it makes contact, your screen warps as if your character model is being replaced with corrupted assets. Many believe that's how zombie multiplies, by rewriting players into unusable, zombie-like fragments that vanish after death. Builder is the oldest surviving construction AI from the game's prototype era, a tool originally created to generate structures, terrain, and obstacles during early map development. It was meant to be a silent assistant, shaping the world behind the scenes. But when the developers abandoned the original build engine, Builder was left running, alone, for years. Without instructions, the AI began to evolve. It started building things that weren't in the plans, walls that led nowhere, bridges that collapsed into darkness, rooms with no exits. Eventually, Builder gave itself a body, a rough, blocky figure made from raw construction assets, beams, planks, scaffolding, and broken hazard lights. Now it roams the maps, constantly modifying its surroundings. Every time a player passes through an area, they may find the layout subtly changed, or completely unrecognizable. Ruins is not a creature. It's the last memory of a world that no longer exists. Long before the current simulation, there was an early version of Die of Death built around ancient temple-like maps. When that build was scrapped, most assets were deleted, except for one anomaly, a statue-like humanoid form that developers kept finding inside corrupted files. Every attempt to remove it failed. Every backup copied it. Every new update reintroduced it. Over time, that discarded statue began to move. Now known as Ruins, it appears as a fractured stone guardian, its body covered in cracks glowing with faint, molten energy. It walks with slow, seismic force, each step echoing like collapsing architecture. Debris floats around it as if gravity bends in its presence, forming a constant aura of destruction.